Good evening. You're with Sandy Aloisi on ABC NewsRadio and local radio. Lovely to have your company. Well, after a marathon 8-week campaign, polls have closed in the eastern states. And within hours, we're expected to know who will govern the country for the next 3 years.
Good evening and welcome to Australia Votes. I'm Fran Kelly and this is Election Night Live. Tonight we bring you the count as it comes in across Australia on ABC News Radio, on local radio, online and your ABC app, and across Asia and the Pacific on Radio Australia. After the longest election campaign in 50 years, tonight the verdict. We have a live data feed direct from the Australian Electoral Commission, stats, calculations and predictions by the genius of Anthony Green, and the very best analysis from our own panel of political experts and commentators. We'll be crossing to politicians, candidates and reporters right across the country in the seats that matter. But first, joining me in the studio tonight, my co-host on Election Night Live, ABC News Radio's political editor, Marius Benson. Hello, Marius.
Evening, Fran.
Well, how do you see it?
Well, I think it's a great evening ahead. In fact, it's been a great day because in my own electorate it was glorious winter weather. There was a queue of about an hour, but everyone was queuing happily. It was my son's old primary school. People were catching up with old friends. The sausages were sizzling. The cakes were being bought, and everyone was happy. I think ancient Greece's agora had nothing on the Australian electorate today. It's been a great day for democracy. What lies ahead this evening? Well, the polls have just closed, 7 minutes ago in the east, so the early numbers will start trickling in almost immediately. Within about an hour we should have meaningful numbers, and there'll be a real torrent of numbers after that. If it's a clear result within 90 minutes, perhaps we'll know. Of course, we're still voting in the centre for another 30 minutes and in the west for another 2 hours, but if it's an early night, we might know in 90 minutes, but it could well be a late night.
And that election snag, it's been a real 3 months. I had to go to 3 booths to get a sausage. They were all sold out.
Oh, should have come to ours.
The government will hold office tonight if it loses less than 13 seats and keeps the swing against it to under 3.3%. For Labor, well, the task really is Herculean. 19 seats and a swing of more than 4%. The polls, the published polls, show this election is neck and neck. And if they prove to be right on 50-50, well, we will end up almost certainly with a narrow coalition victory or a hung parliament. If the next Xenophon team picks up Senate seats in South Australia and lower house seats, that will spell big trouble for the government trying to win and win well. So tonight, in the count for the 150 seats in the House of Representatives, all eyes will be on a small handful of seats where independents or minor parties are pressing strongly. Our political analyst William Bowe will take us through the seats to watch very soon. But Marius, the Senate too, it could pose some surprises.
It sure could, because instead of having half the Senate up as is normal, we have 76 senators. The whole Senate is up for grabs today because it's a double dissolution election, and that means that instead of a senator having to win 14% of the vote in their state or territory, they have to win half of that, around 7%. So there's any number of senators who'll be there. The one certainty in the Senate, or two certainties: the government won't have a majority, Labor won't have a majority, the crossbench will matter, and it's a guessing game who'll be on that.
Yeah, think Hinch, Hanson and Lambie, and then think what that might mean. Well, let's bring in our political guests. We're joined in our panel on Election Night Live tonight by Scott Ryan, the Liberal Senator for Victoria, Minister for Vocational Education and Skills, and numbers man. Scott, welcome.
Good evening, Fran.
And Jenny McAllister, Labor Senator for New South Wales, former ALP President. Jenny, good evening.
Good to be here, Fran.
Also in the studio, our election analyst, William Bowe, a.k.a. the poll bludger from crikey.com, our secret weapon, really. He'll be taking us through the seats to watch tonight, analysing the figures and making sense of this count as it comes in. William, welcome.
Great pleasure to be here, Fran.